Today we're going to talk about mattress stitch because I'm about to start sewing up my Cornwallis sweater. So this is just a little bit of a fake sew up because this is not the right order that I'm supposed to be putting the garment together, but I just wanted to show this before I got into the real thing. So we've had a couple questions about the stripes and what thread do you use and that kind of thing. So I'm just using the white Summer Light DK that I knit the sweater in, and you're gonna see why it doesn't really matter what color I'm going to use. We're just gonna do a little anatomy demonstration first of your knitting. So this is stockinette, so of course the edges are rolling. So you have to unroll the edge and take a look at the way that the stitches, so this kind of funny end stitch right here where I'm carrying the yarn up the side when I change colors, that's actually your first column of stitches. And what we're after is doing the sewing in between the first and the second column. So you have to unroll this, and I did press this, but it really wants to roll because it's stockinette. Okay, so those funny little stitches, that messy column on the end is, we want to skip over that, and where we want to start our work is actually between that column and the next column. And if you can see on my needle, I've put my needle under two ladders that are between those two columns of stitches, and this is where we're going to work when we do the mattress stitch. So as I do this, you're going to see it's one of those things that it's going to be easier than it sounds until I start or it's easier once you get started than just talking about it. So I'm going to hook my thread first on one side. Really doesn't matter what side you start your thread in. I just want to make sure that it doesn't slip out while I'm doing it. And I would sew these ends into the, or weave these ends in at the back, but I'm just going to make a tight little loop there. And the way the mattress stitch works is it goes between the two sides that you're sewing up, and it's going to go back and forth, and then you're going to tighten the stitches, and you'll see. So I'm going to start with leaving the stitches fairly loose. So I'm going to try to get in on the other side exactly in the same spot where I started so that my stripes match. So here's that funny little column there. I'm going to come over on this one, and I'm going to put my needle in between the ladders, and I'm going to pick up two ladders. I hope you can see that. It's kind of tight. So okay, so then I have a line across. You can see the line. Now I'm going to go right back into the hole where I came out of on the first side, and I'm going to pick up two ladders between the columns of stitches. I hope you can see that. Okay. So now I have a zigzag across, and I'm not tightening it up, I'm leaving it loose. And I'm going to come back over to the second side, go into the hole that I came out of, get two ladders on my needle, and then I'm gonna just leave it loose. Come back over to the first side. Gets to be repetitive. I'm sure you get the idea. Just keep unrolling if you have something that's rolling up. I'm going to get two ladders. Oh, it's a little bit hard on this one. It's actually where I change colors. So the second ladder is actually the blue stitch. So I've got a white and a blue one. I don't want your needle to go through your loop of your thread. Okay. So here we go. Same thing on this one. Now we're in the blue. So we want to go between two. So I've got two blue ladders. Oh, I got three blue ladders. I'm going to just back that out. I've got two blue ladders. Okay. And I'm going to just do into the blue because I want to show you why that doesn't matter what color thread you're using. into the same hole that you came out of the last time. 2 blue ladders. Into the hole where I came out of. 2 blue ladders. Over to the other side. And I'm just going to finish this stripe just so you can see how it looks when it's finished. Into the same hole. If you need to use your hand to manipulate this so that you get the 2, there should be a white ladder here. Yep, so there we go. And here, I'm looking for a second. There's actually 2 white ladders, so that means my stripes are slightly off, but this is just for demonstration, so we won't worry. Okay, so now what happens is that you don't want to pull this too tight till you get a few stitches ahead, and then I'm going to start just tightening up a bit just by, you can just pull it with your hand, and I just want to get these a little bit closer, so those loops that I made, just tightening them a little bit. And we're just going to tighten this up a little bit, so not, I don't want to pull too much. You can use your needle as well. See how that goes. And then this is the magic part coming up next. So when you go to really finish the tightening, it goes like a zipper. And the whole thing comes together like that, and you can see that the columns are matched perfectly, so that once that's sewn up, you're not going to even be able to see where the seam was. So I'm just going to show you on the other side. It makes this great seam. Okay, so you can see where the seam is building up there and how neat it is inside, and this is why we get lots of questions about, could you just knit it in the round? Yes, you could, but if you did knit this in the round, you would not have this seam, and you can see how strong that seam is making the whole garment. And then that's what it's important, and I think it's important for cotton because cotton can tend to stretch. So then you finished over here, so then you just keep going in the same way, just uncurling your into the hole that you came out of, and you want 2 white ladders. There's a little bit of blue showing there because that's where I carried the thread up the inside. Over to the other side. In where I came out of, 2 ladders. I'm just going to make it a little tiny bit tighter than I did with those when I was demonstrating the first part. 2 ladders here on the right side, back over to the left side, find your 2 ladders. Just going to make sure I have gone into the right hole. On your 2 ladders. Whoop. It's better just to take your time and do it slow. And then I'm gonna tighten up again. And you can feel this, especially with this cotton, it's nice. It just slides right in. So you can see that, and then once you're gonna press that when it's done, and you're not gonna even be able to see the difference between those stitches. So that's about it. I'm gonna, so we'll just leave that for that, and you can see that you can't see the white thread at all because the stitches, the columns of stitches come right in, so it really doesn't matter what color. I could have used purple and you still wouldn't have seen it. So that's the mattress stitch.